Here at Rewind Scotland on day 2, we're halfway through all the acts that are on stage and on a little bit later on. One of our own homegrown favourites here as well, Midge Ure. Thanks for talking to us here.
It's a pleasure.
And really nice to see you and catch up. First of all, you don't get much of a chance, I suppose, to get back to Scotland. How much do you enjoy just being back here and playing live in front of a home crowd?
Oh, this is playing here. I've played here a few times, and it's always the pinnacle. You know, it's always the best, because irrespective of what the weather throws at the people, they are there to the bitter end. It's just wonderful. And you can cut the atmosphere with a knife and take it home with you. It's brilliant. I love it. But I get back to Scotland a lot, actually. My daughter's just graduated from Edinburgh Uni. So I've been up and down an awful lot. So I'm here quite a bit. But playing here is just wonderful.
And out there, I expect it'll be a mix of the solo stuff and a bit of Ultravox in the mix as well?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, these things are quite simple. You know, it's an unwritten rule. You play your hits. You know, don't go on there and play some obscure album track. It's not the right audience. The star at these festivals is the festival. You know, that's it. People come here hoping to hear things that they know. And so you can come here without even knowing who's on stage, and you're bound to hear something that you like, something that you recognise, something you love, something you can sing along with. And I keep it like that. When I do my own shows, which I'm doing later in the year, I do my own shows, then I can be choosy and do album tracks and, you know, the more interesting things, I think. But this is hits.
And I don't know whether this is pre-wardrobe change before you go on stage, but with it being an 80s theme, or are you looking back to what you might have been wearing if it was 1986 today?
Well, I looked out there and I don't see anything that anybody wore in 1986. There seems to be a sea of tutus and the fluorescent, you know, leg warmers. And I don't remember seeing any of that back then. So, no, singing the old songs is fine. Trying to look like you did 30 years ago is not on the cards.
I do recall a Princess Trust gig where you were in a white suit and a cap. How do you remember that?
That's true. Yes. And a pink guitar, I seem to remember.
That's right, I remember.
What was I thinking?
You were doing If I Was.
That's right.
That? Yeah,
I was, yeah.
Good gig. I know, but you've had great experiences of mixing in events like that, aside from obviously Band Aid and Live Aid, but the Princess Trust stuff. I mean, how strong are the relationships that you have with acts when you come and see them in these events?
Oh, you know what? It's great. Backstage here, I'm just bumping into people that I hadn't seen for quite a while. I'm bumping into old friends that I've known. You know, I suppose like all of us, you have a handful of people that you would call great friends. In the music industry, that's quite a rare thing. Well, you know, Glenn Gregory's back there. You know, we've been great friends for the last 35 years. You know, Rusty Egan's been up there spinning some discs, and you know, we were in the Rich Kids together, and we put Visage together. You know, the two of us. So it's fantastic. I've just bumped into Annabella Lewin. You know, it's fabulous. It's great fun. Whereas back in the day, you were too busy sucking your cheeks in and ignoring everybody else that you'd pass on the corridors at the top of the pops. You know.
Good days, though. Good days.
It was good.
Great stories.
Yeah, I can't complain.
You talked about your daughter there graduating from Edinburgh University. Is any of the offspring, any of the family that have picked up on your talent that we'll see maybe following your footsteps?
I think most of my offspring are much more talented than I am. They all have brilliant voices. They all sing incredibly well. But I think thankfully they've got proper jobs. Yeah, they've just turned into my parents saying that. You know, they've got proper jobs. So they don't. My eldest daughter actually is working for an agent. She started off playing in a band and got themselves a top 20 record, which is amazing. But she realised just how quickly that burns out, and she's gone to the dark side. So she's now an agent. You know, so she's just been working on the Isle of Wight Festival, which is brilliant.
And are you still involved in finding new talent? Do you ever see bands or watch new bands? And
I do.
Advice?
Advice is difficult. I do see a lot of interesting artists. When I go out and do my solo stuff, especially the acoustic stuff that I'll be doing later in the year, I use different opening acts and give them new talent a bit of a crack, let them get up and play in front of a few more people than they're normally used to doing. And a couple of years back, I found these two guys, the Indie Electric Company, who opened up for me. And then about a month later, they opened up for me again. And every time they did it, I didn't know who it was. I had to stick my head out the door because they were so good. And I invited them to come and tour with me. So they're now going to be touring and opening up for me, and then coming on stage and backing me as well. So incredibly talented musicians out there. And it's like a sieve, you know, being in the music industry. If you're really, really tenacious and absolutely passionate about what you do, irrespective of how many times you're turned down or pushed away or ignored, you will get there. You'll get there at some level. You know, just keep sticking at it.
you've talked about making new music, about touring. Through the years, you'll have evolved with the technology, I'm sure. How different, how vastly different is it now to record a song compared to back in the 80s when we were watching you fiddling all the knobs at Band-Aid?
It's you can make anything. It's the technology is there. If you have a laptop and the right software, and the knowledge is the thing. That's the difficult part. Learning how it works, learning how to do it. My last album I did everything. I engineered it. I played all the instruments. I mixed it, did whatever, and it's basically on a laptop. It's on a computer, so you can make extremely good records in your bedroom. Without having to go cap in hand asking a record label for money. It's what you do with it once you've made it. Unfortunately, everyone has the same technology and not everyone has the talent to do it. So, there's no filtering system. The internet seems to be filled with not very interesting music. But every so often, somebody with that same equipment but with an idea and a little bit of talent can come up with something quite spectacular.
You mentioned you're heading out. Give us a bit more detail on when we can see you with your solo stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm coming out. It's a tour that I've put together. I've come up with this stupid idea of the tour's called Something from Everything, and I'm trying to play something from every album that I've been associated with since 1978, which is the Rich Kids, so all the way through Ultravox and Visage and all the solo stuff, and trying to choose something that I can play and fit it all into one show. That's quite a tall order. So I'm coming out in October, and we'll be going right through Christmas and New Year into the beginning of next year.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's difficult to eliminate songs.
Yeah, I just don't like listening to my own stuff. It's a really weird, painful process. Listening to the music and finding ones that I think, okay, that will make the transformation, that will work in the format that I want to play it now, and the song still works in its own right. That's difficult.
You talk about finding it difficult to listen to yourself. What about watching yourself through the years?
Oh,
looking back,
it's hideous. It really is. Everyone has a photo album, of the past, and if you flick through far enough, you'll find photographs where you look a complete moron. You look just ridiculous. The hair, the makeup, the shoulder pads, whatever it happens to be. Well, my entire history is public knowledge. I don't think I've got anything left that people don't know about. So I can't look at all that stuff. It's fine.
It's lovely to see such energy. You look like you're really up for this after all these years. So much enthusiasm still there, Midge Ure. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thanks very much, Mr. Midge Ure.